My lords, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Hard Mode Transport Fever 2. Starting out today at the little interchange that we have by the machinery factory just on the outskirts of West Ham. I've done a bit of work off camera. I have set up a freight line, as we can see the train there just pulling away in the distance, and that is taking the finished machinery up into Rothbury. I've also set up a little haulage line which obviously takes the machines from the factory over to the station, and likewise over at Rothbury I've set up another delivery line that takes the machinery from the cargo station on into the city of Rothbury itself. My idea there, of course, is not only to supply Rothbury with the machinery, but to kick up the production chain down the line. Obviously, if we can start producing and delivering the machinery at a decent rate, that's going to increase the output, which is going to increase the demand for the steel and the silver. That's going to have a knock-on effect down the line, so the silver bar manufactory is going to require more silver ore, and the steel manufactory is going to require increased amounts of coal and iron, all of which should help us build our profits up very nicely. I have made one other minor change as well. Well, I say minor, in fact, no, I've made a few changes. Initially, I have upgraded the roads through here to 6-lane roads. There was a lot of traffic build-up in West Ham, as they were all filtering down into a 2-lane road, which was obviously causing a bit of a traffic jam. So that's now all been upgraded to 6-lane, and as you can see, you can just about make out the cars here from this height. They are now free-flowing a lot better than they previously were. I've done the same over here in Portishead as well. However, as you can see, there is still some traffic build-up, but that is because of all of the traffic lights here, so I might go ahead and remove some of them at some point, but for now it should be okay. The other fairly substantial change that we made, or that I made, and again this was all done off camera, is I have quad-tracked this passenger line here between Portishead and Nuneaton, because what I found during testing is our express train, which I have upgraded, was getting caught behind the commuter trains and it wasn't able to unleash its full potential. If we just bring up the UI here, we can see if we bring up the line overlay, not that one, we can see now that on this bit of quad track the lines are separated. So the intercity commuter runs on the outer tracks, whereas the intercity express now runs on the central tracks. The intercity commuter has not been upgraded, that's as it was previously, which I believe is a doubled Mirage. However, the intercity express trains, they have been upgraded, and if we can locate one, we'll be able to have a look at the new change. If we just find one, hopefully there's one over here at Nuneaton. Indeed, we have one just here. So the train now, it is a BR103.1 with 4 Mark III coaches. That enables this train to now go at 124 miles per hour, I believe, whereas the Mirages are limited to 95. So as you can imagine, after I'd upgraded these express trains, they were just getting held up by the commuter trains. So this bit of quad track here should alleviate that somewhat. It isn't quad tracked all the way through to West Ham. Obviously the express service goes from Nuneaton through to West Ham, so they are sharing a line here. Although it's not a great distance, although it looks a lot bigger there as I was just scrolling over it. And at this point, if you remember, they do separate anyway, because the commuter goes onto the outer tracks and the express passes through on the inner tracks. So far it seems to be working pretty well. At some point we might want to quad track this as well, or indeed just quad track the entire bridge, and then have the entire length of track between Nuneaton and Portishead be quad tracked, but we can come back to that in the future. This small change that I've made has made a bit of a difference, and I have enjoyed watching our express train catch up and then fly past the commuter services as they overtake on their way to West Ham. Okay then, so that's that. You see we're now in excess of $1 billion. I still need to change the currency unit over to pound sterling. I keep meaning to do that between episodes, but I always forget. What else? Oh yes, the only other very minor cosmetic change that I made is I've gone through, and these new lines that I installed in the previous couple of episodes, I have got the paint tool and the ballast, and I've painted over the ballast, so all the long grass that occasionally grows through has been painted over, and it just makes these lines look a lot more used, which of course they are. We have our intercity commuter service, and now we have the machinery freight train which runs up that way as well. So for today's episode then, I think what I'm going to try and do is a little bit of an experiment. At the moment, after doing some testing and just watching the numbers over the course of a couple of years, with the date paused of course, I have noticed that one of the major hold-ups in this production chain for the machinery is getting the silver ore from the mine down into the silver mill down here. Now, one idea I had, and I've apart from the in-game missions, I've never really done any cargo air freight, and I think I'd like to try that. I don't want to be setting up a train line down here because it would just be all kinds of messy. So if we're ruling out a train line, and the ships just aren't cutting it just because of how slow it takes, or how much time it takes them to travel between here and here, obviously the ships aren't the fastest, then really that only leaves us with air freight as a viable alternative. So I think today that's what we're going to try. So let's go ahead. I've been looking at the airports already. As you can see, it's already highlighted cargo airports, and I've done a bit of thinking, and I think what we're going to go for is just a small cargo airfield rather than the larger one. The problem I have with the larger one is it has that rather large terminal building, as we can see here, which just makes it look more like a passenger airport than a freight airline. So I think something like this, while we are going to be restricted obviously to the size of the aircraft that we can utilise from this airport, it just fits in a little better. Saying that, however, there's nothing to stop us, I don't think anyway, changing the building size here to a smaller building. I believe we can do that. And in fact, that might be worth testing just very quickly. We have them, even if it doesn't work, we can afford the loss in the refund if we have to demolish it and then opt for the smaller one. But I've never really done much experimentation with the airports, so this is a bit of a learning curve for me. So let's have a look and see if it will work as I hope it will. First of all, I just want to lower it down so the building, the terminal itself is more or less level with the ground, rather than the runway being elevated up and then having quite a large climb, as we can see there, to get the road up. So we'll sink it into the ground from the perspective of the runway, have it somewhere like that. 19 million, that should be fine. Now let's go ahead and see if we can indeed get rid of this building. Let's go to configure, demolish. Yes, we can. Okay, that's brilliant. And we want buildings and cargo terminals. Where do we put this? Right, I don't know if these have road access, which is the biggest problem that we have here. That's the passenger terminal. Now I think we are going to have to go with this building, and as I said, it just looks okay, I'm going to go for it. I think it looks a little bit strange. What do we have? New buses and a new ferry there, the Graf Zeppelin. The two buses are the Leyland Olympian. 70 miles an hour, so pretty rapid buses. I think at some point we'll change those, and hopefully we'll get round to it in this episode. I'm sure that we will, providing of course I do not forget, which is very likely. Now let's see. No, so the cargo hangars, they do not provide street access, as you can see. It's only the main building. So we are going to have to just suspend disbelief, if you will, and have this rather passenger international airport looking building here, which is a bit of a shame, but it is what it is, and I'm sure we can, live with it. Okay, I don't like the way that connected. Let me just loop that round a little better. In fact, I might have to do this in two moves, like that. and then like that. Hopefully that now has an active connection. No, that building is too far away. Well, we might be able to trick it a little bit by putting a more direct road in. Will that give us... Yes, there we go. So we have the direct access, so there's no need for any road vehicles in the in-between. So that's one of the airports set up. We will rename it. Bakewell Airport isn't really that fitting. And here, obviously, is where we need it to be dropped off. Given that we've gone ahead and determined we are going to be using large aircraft for this, and we've got no choice now but to use the same style airport over at the destination point. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we'll put it, I guess we'll put it there. In the future I might actually downgrade that to a small airport. I just can't get over the aesthetics of that building there. Regardless, for now it'll be fine. I'm just going to quickly smooth off the terrain modifications it's made there around the edge of the airport. I'll have to do the same over here at what has been named Bakewell Airport, but which will be named momentarily, or renamed. There we go. So this will be... We'll call it, in fact, keep Bakewell, but we'll change it to Bakewell Cargo Airport. And then down here, I guess we're going to have to do the same. Yes, Bracknell to Bracknell Cargo Airport. I don't think we'll ever double these airports up to serve both passengers and cargo. Bracknell probably, no, it doesn't need an airport. A few other towns will get airports. Obviously, at the moment, we have Nuneaton and the other one down here in Wareham. I think perhaps maybe Rothbury, once that expands, could probably get itself an airport. I'd like to say Portishead as well, if we have the space to do it. Definitely Burton, I think, because Burton is one of our major towns on the southern landmass, so having an airport in Burton would make sense. But enough for that for now. We need to get this line set up. So what we want is a line that runs from Bakewell Cargo Airport over to Bracknell Cargo Airport. So quite a short flight, so perhaps a little bit overkill due to the as the crow flies distance, but it should do us a lot better than the shipping lanes, because just as I said earlier, it's just the time it takes the ships to get from one port to the other that's causing the slowdown, and I don't really want to just spam hundreds of ships there to increase the throughput, so we'll just do it this way. So yes, Bakewell to Bracknell. At Bakewell we want it to be fully loaded and wait as long as you need to, and you are shipping silver ore, which I believe is this one. Yes it is, there you go. Here you're not loading anything, but we'll keep the unload because obviously you're only going to have silver ore anyway. That's been determined over here, and we'll call this silver ore air freight, and this is Bakewell to Bracknell. Quite a bit of a mouthful there, but it's fine. It tells us what it's doing. We have a hangar. Let's go ahead, get ourselves an aircraft. That's not what we want to do. We want to go to the hangar there. That's better, thank you. Buy vehicles. We want cargo, and we want to make sure they carry silver ore. Let's see here now. I wish there... Oh no, it does say there if it's a large or small aircraft. Forgive me, I didn't realise that. What an idiot. Now, what has the highest capacity? So that's got 27, which I believe is going to be the highest capacity. Indeed it is. A little bit slower, but to be fair, it's not going too far anyway. So I think we'll sacrifice the 6 to 8 miles an hour in exchange for the 7 increased cargo units. That's obviously a lot slower, so that one's been ruled out pretty much. Yep, we'll go for this one, the Canadair CL44, and I think we'll say have... Do you think 4 is going to be overkill? Potentially, but that's what we're going for anyway. We can always sell a few if it is a little bit overkill. Give them a quick paint job, pop them on the line, and then what we want to do is go here, go to our silver ore shipping ships, and basically just sell them. There we go, and then we can also actually delete that line as well. Let's go to manage line and cancel that line. We'll keep the infrastructure, simply because it might turn out that this is an extravagant waste of money that's not going to make us any profit whatsoever, in which case we'll just revert back to the ships. But I figured for a little experiment it's worthwhile trying out and seeing what results it will give us. Hopefully it will fill up pretty quick. Well, they only carry 27, so yes, he's almost got a full load there. Oh, that's meant to happen. Okay, I was a bit concerned as to what happened to the back end of the plane, but clearly that's as intended. I think just having some sort of door hatch with a ramp on the back might be a better option than just having your plane split in two, but what do I know? I'm not an aircraft engineer. Right, bit close there. Watch your wings. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that over the next coming months and years, see what sort of throughput and effect it's going to have for us. Hopefully it works okay. If not, like I said, we can always revert back to the ships. The infrastructure's not being edited in any way. The other thing we are going to need to do, of course, is here we have the silver ore haulage. We don't need that anymore, simply because, of course, the airplanes are going straight to the destination, so there's no need for anything in the intermediate. So let's go ahead and get rid of those lines as well. There we go. Just want to make sure this does actually have a connection to the silver mine. It'd be a bit awkward if it didn't. No, it does. That's fine. Right, okay, so we must remember to keep an eye on that. It's going to need a bit of time to bed in and get everything spaced out, of course. There's our first cargo flight leaving Bakewell. Yes, Bakewell. Should we have a quick hop on board? It's not the end of the episode, don't worry. But it's always nice to have a ride on the plane. It's a really good view of the map, and when we can see the airport already, we're already on approach, I think. In fact, looks like we're slowing down already there, 240 and decreasing. Nice flight over Portishead. Bridge looking rather splendid, if I do say so myself. That's, personally, for me, that's one of the highlights of this map so far, that large suspension bridge. I think it just, I think it looks fantastic, but yeah, that's just me. So what we're going to do, basically ensure that we have a decent throughput frequency on this line. The difference, of course, is the planes carry around about 10% of the ship capacity, but if they are doing it 90% faster, then it should be much of a muchness. And of course, if the 4 planes can't keep up with the throughput, we can always add more. Having a million planes flying between the two might look a little bit odd, but while we're down at ground level looking at our trains and our road vehicles, which is obviously where you spend most of your time on Transport Fever, then you might not notice them flying overhead. Obviously we don't want to make the airspace too busy because it would just be a bit odd. A nice very backwards ancient road there. Not going to upgrade that. I figure if they have poor intercity connections in terms of private transportation, they're going to be more inclined to use our public transportation, and that's going to make us more money, so they can stick with the dirt roads for my money. So there we go, landing there nicely at Bracknell Airport. Nice little jaunt, as we said, over Portishead, looking at the bridge over the river, and yeah, hopefully this will work out quite nicely. Here comes the next one. And the next one, and where is plane number 4? Just lifting off now, and we've already got 27 units there ready for collection, and the plane, I guess, has not even left the airport at Bracknell yet. No, still taxiing, so we could probably get away with one more plane, perhaps even 2, but we'll readdress that a little bit later on. Okay, so my next thing I'd like to do is think about getting the tools up here to Rothbury. We have all the infrastructure in place for that, and there is a connection, or there is a way for the trains to get all the way from the tool factory down here at Marlborough all the way up, because obviously we know they're getting as far as West Ham. The West Ham freight station is a pass-through, as is this freight station, so they should be able to go all the way through into Rothbury without too much intervention. We might have to do a little bit of platform manipulation, so the any waiting trains here and here don't hold up the pass-through train, but that should be fairly simple to organise really. So let's set this line up now. We don't have a free platform down here, so we are going to have to do a bit of infrastructure work just to add in a new platform, but that's fine. We have the platform there, we just don't have the train line next to it, but now we have 1, 2 and 3, so we're fine on that front. And now we need to connect it into the existing line, of course, and we are just using these slow speed tracks here. Now the diamond is very short, and I don't think we're going to have enough room there to connect him prior to the diamond. Indeed we're not. So what we're going to do in that case then is have this quad tracked, not the whole way but a little distance, and then from this point here is where we'll start the quad track, because we're going to have more than one train running down here to collect and deliver the tools. So what we don't want is a train waiting here to get onto the platform. Here we can siding up the train, or we can stable the trains along here, and then we have the TGV. Now that's going to be worth looking at in a moment once we've got this all sorted out. But yes, as I was saying, this way obviously the tool train coming in to collect the tools can wait off away from this line, so it's not going to hold up the planks delivery or the West Ham tool delivery train. Right, I'm sure that all makes sense. Let's get them all connected in like this. Hopefully that's a pretty decent junction. It should, because they were parallel. Yep, that's fine. Just going to get rid of that ballast. That's not the ballast. We want the ballast. We're going to get rid of the grass is what I want to say. That's now appeared between these lines. And in fact, we'll ballast all the way up to the platform, I think, like that. That should do. I think we'll also very quickly just smooth off this terrain here. Like that looks, yeah, that looks a lot better. Yeah, I'm happy with that. We're going to need some signals down here, of course. Don't need too many, just enough, like I said, so we can actually stable the trains while they're waiting to get onto the platform. So we'll have a one-way signal there. We'll not need the auto signal for this, of course. That is the... No, that's the right way, yes. So we want the signal there for entering into the junction. We'll go ahead and have one here as well, just prior to the junction. And then we're going to want one there. And I think we can get away with one more midpoint signal there. So our train can either wait in this block or in this block if the platform is occupied. If we're only having two trains, the midpoint signal is largely overkill, but that's fine. So now then, if we go back, I think we started the line. Yes, we did line 1. So we're going from Marlborough Tool Factory. You're on platform 3, which I believe is a correct one. 1, 2, 3, perhaps, yes. We'll see. And we're coming all the way far end of the map, as far as we can pretty much go on this map. And we're coming here. Okay, you're sharing a platform there. There's no need to do that. That's better. So what are you doing at the pass-through? Let's see. Okay. Could we have you come in and out on this platform? That way you're not going to get held up if this train here is being loaded. I think we should be able to, but we will need some sort of a waypoint. Now we can actually use a proper waypoint if we want to. We could use a dwarf signal just as a waypoint. There's no reason not to, I suppose. And if we have that there, how does that look? That looks fine. Go back to the line. After the tool factory, can you come this way, or are there going to be some one-way signals messing everything up? Nope, not at all. That's absolutely fine. We do want some one-way signals here on this little stretch, because the train can head down here. There's no reason it can't. The only reason it's opting to do this is because we don't have one-way signals on this little stretch of track yet. Let's put a few in. So we want one way there, a bit of grass there that's still showing through. So unfortunate, but it's fine. Where is the diamond? Okay, if we go there, will that work? And then just in the tunnel, not like that we won't. Jesus, where's the signal? Okay, this is going to be awkward, isn't it? Getting that signal. Oh, there it is. Got ya. Yes, like that and that. Well, the line isn't complaining. That's exactly what we want it to do. Yes. But could you come this way through the platform? Again, just so you're not getting held up by an unloading train there. Well, we do have a crossover point here, so I don't see why it shouldn't be able to do that. Again, we'll use one of the dwarf signal waypoints. Just like that. Obviously, these are bi-directional. They are waypoints. They're not actually signals, despite what they are called, so you don't have to worry about that. And then if we add another station or waypoint there, will you do it? Yes, you absolutely will. Beautiful. Right, the next thing we need to do is change the colour. We'll go for a darker grey, like that. And we want you to be fully loaded at the tool factory. Full load all. You're not unloading, but you are going to be loading, and you're only going to be loading the tools. In fact, we want that sort of blue colour for the tools, don't we? There we go. Don't need to do anything there, that's all good. So let's name this line. So this is tools freight, and where's it coming from? Don't tell me. Is it Marlborough? I think it's Marlborough. To Rothbury. It is Marlborough, it says it right there, and I just pointed at the screen because I'm some sort of idiot. Anyway, there we go, tools freight Marlborough to Rothbury. We'll not get the train assigned yet because there's not going to be any draw at the tools factory because there's nothing up here for the tools to be delivered onto. So what we need to do is set up a delivery line into Rothbury. To do that, of course, we're going to need an unload point. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. Where are the tools? Right at the top end of town. Well, that's fine. And we'll have them dropped off there, I think. Then it's not on the main road. Now we can go back here. Add station there. You are tools. I think we used that colour. That's fine. Yes, you're doing a loop there, but I do have one way in and one way out at this exchange, so that's unavoidable. But it's fine, I can live with that, to be fair. Fully loaded, full wait time, and again, we want to make sure that you're only picking up the tools here. There we go. And we'll quickly name this, and this is our tools delivery to Rothbury. I can spell no I can't. I can spell Rothbury, there we go. Tools delivery Rothbury. Yep, that should work pretty good. Let's get some vehicles waiting. So they're going to be sat on standby for a little while, but that's fine. I think 5 is going to be enough. Colour them blue or teal. Set them on the line, and now we can go back and purchase the train. And I do believe we can use our very first train depot over here at Rothbury for this. So let's go ahead and decide what sort of loco we want for this. I might go for the Class 56 just because it's got decent power and it's not too expensive to run, really. Yeah, why not? Yeah, let's go Class 56 for this train. Passenger, no. Cargo, yes. And I think they are the box cars. Yes, indeed they are. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should we start off with 8? That gives us a decent capacity, 104 per run. Decent speeds as well. 72 miles an hour on high slopes is pretty damn good. We want 2 of these just because of the distance they're running. We might even need more in the long term, but to start off with 2 should be absolutely fine. Let's get them purchased. Let's get them coloured. And let's get them running. And there we go. So that's now Rothbury supplied, or eventually it will be supplied with both its tools and its, well, it's already getting the machinery. We know that, so as I said, I mentioned that, did that off camera. How we're looking over here, the platform or the terminal is full as, yep, 177, and we are now starting to lose cargo there. How is the rate? Where I've got all confused. There it is. It's a big airport. How did you miss it? Well, 1.5 million per run, I think, is a decent profit. Let's have a look at, well, look at that. And I dare say we could probably, I'm going to chance it and say 2 more aircraft on this. And that should be keeping this a lot, or the lulls in production. It is production. Yes, the slowdowns in production should be a bit fewer and further between, even though per delivery we're not getting as much brought down here. Although saying that, of course, we're also relying on a smaller capacity truck as opposed to the ship that was dropping off the 200 odd units. So I think, I dare say overall this might work out pretty good. And given, like I said, as I started setting this up, I've never really done much with cargo air freight other than what's required in the in-game missions. It's nice to do a little bit every now and then, so yes. I dare say actually these aircraft could probably be upgraded. Clicking all the wrong things today, that's what we want. Manage vehicles, what are you running at the moment? The 737-100. So let's see if we can give you something a little better. We just want large, and we want to make sure they carry passengers. So you're running that, the 737-100 carries 20. Well, that carries 21. Yeah, it's actually cheaper, although it is a little slower. No, I think we'll stick with the Boeings for now. We'll stick with them. Okay. Okay, now, if you cast your mind back to the start of the episode, we did unlock the Leyland Olympian buses, so I think it's high time we get them onto our map. So we'll go to our vehicle manager. We shall select just road vehicle filter, and then I will take a moment now, go through and click all the the bus lines. And then once I've got them all, we will come back and swap these out. At the minute they're running the Chinese buses, I think they are the BK670s. So yes, we'll swap them out for the Leyland Olympians. Once I've got them all clicked, should hopefully just take a moment. There we go. I think that's all of our bus lines. So first of all, we will do a comparison. So BK670, 50 miles an hour carries 21. Leyland Olympian, it's faster, it's a lot faster. Although it'd be a bit more sluggish up the hills, as we can see there. It's quite a decrease in power, and it's actually a lot more expensive. However, I like the extra speed, plus it's a proper UK bus, the old double-decker, so we'll go for it. And there we go, that's all the buses swapped. I guess these can't have a custom paint job because they're all in their default red. What we're going to do is take a look. We have one right here. Let's hop on down and have a good look at this bus. Is she holding an invisible baby? She looks a little bit scary. Oh god, she's got one too. Invisible babies everywhere. They've all got them. Okay, this is a town on the damned. Let's hop away from Whitnash pretty quickly. But the buses themselves, they look fine. In fact, have we got any better trams? What are we still running over here on our tram lines? Let's have a little look. Let's select those. Well, these are all... In fact, that's it. Yeah, that's right. That's them all selected. So you're running the BE46 Mirage. Is there anything better? No, there's not. So you carry on. Ignore me. You're fine. You're absolutely fine. Alright, let's have a look at these buses and we'll just ignore the people. So, the driver's driving it cross-handed, almost as if he should be reading a book, and all the passengers sat there as if they should be driving the bus. This is disconcerting, but the bus itself, if we just ignore the people, the bus itself looks absolutely fine. Proper sort of UK bus there, so it fits the theme of the map, so happy with that. Oh, we also unlocked the TGV, didn't we? Now, I wonder if that would supplant or be better for our express train between West Ham and Nuneaton? Let's go ahead and have a look. Intercity Express, manage vehicles, we'll select both so we can do a comparison between the two. So we'll just delete that train, multi-unit, TGV, add it on, a lot more capacity, a lot more speed. However, it's a bit sluggish getting up to its speed, but it is going a fair old distance, and I dare say it's more than 8.5 miles, so I think that would be able to get up to top speed. It should certainly exceed the speed here, which is, yes, 124. Plus it's the TGV, so why wouldn't we? So yeah, let's go ahead. We'll swap both of those for the TGV. Can we colour these? So this is purple. Let's see. We can colour them. It looks rather nice in the purple. 64.5 million to replace both of those. That's worth it, just for the sake of having the TGV on the map. So, there we go, and just look at that for timing. Here comes one of them now. It might even be... would it be worth having this run between Burton and Portishead? Possibly not. Just... well, look at that. It overshoots. It's too long for the platform. I mean, it'll still work. It just looks at... oh, no. It will not work. Look at that. Oh, will it work? Let's see. Is that enough distance to that switch? I think it should be. We'll see what happens. Let's just kick up the speed a little bit here so we can watch what happens. Nope, it's fine. It works. And hopefully it will work over in Nuneaton as well. Going the wrong way completely. Do we have one in Nuneaton? We do. Well, that fits on a lot better. Look at that, because we've got the bigger platform there. So it's perfectly fine in Nuneaton. So I might go ahead and increase the station size at West Ham. It would involve some jiggery-pokery sorting out the diamonds and the junctions, but I think it's worth it. And I also think we'll get on board this. And I think at this point we will say it's going to be the end of the episode today. Let's get into a nice position. Do we want to see the train at all, or do we just want to... no, we want to see this train because it's the TGV. It's a very iconic train. So let's sort of like go there. Now, all my key bindings are messed up, so trying to raise and lower my position is one of the most awkward things, because I can't remember the default keys. I had changed them all, and now I can't remember which ones they are by default, so bear with me while I just hit all of the keys until something happens that looks like it's raising or lowering. Nope, where are you? Well, I don't know what key it is. This will have to do, we'll just have to try not to strangle ourselves on the catenary wires as we're flying past. So yes, we'll leave it here for today. As I said, I've enjoyed today's episode, got some air freight going and got some nice TGVs running, getting held up by the commuter train there, as we can see, which is not what we want because we've just lost all the speed we just built up. So yeah, probably do want a quad track all the way through to Portishead now, I think, just because it's not as quick getting up to speed, and it's just a shame to sacrifice the build-up that we just had. So I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please consider hitting that thumbs up button there down below. Any comments, as always, are welcome. Feedback, suggestions, or calling me a complete idiot for wrecking the entire map by going crazy and putting air freight and TGVs on the line. But either or, let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed, then obviously please consider doing so as well. It does help the channel immensely. We are almost at 600, and if we could get to 600 off the back of this video, I would be absolutely thrilled. Hello TGV, there goes our sister train now. But yes, enough waffling. All that remains for me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.